Guys, they say when in Rome. I actually don't even know what the saying is, but I do know that Whiskey Cavalier, they filmed in Rome. They bickered, they shot each other, they found a bomb. There's so much to discuss, so stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Guys, welcome back to the Whiskey Cavalier After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. I'm one of your hosts, Linda Antwi, a.k.a. Bellini Bobby. And to my left, I have my lovely co-host, Monica.
Also known as Beer Brandy.
And Janine.
Also known as Dirty Midnight.
And last but not least, Monse.
Tequila Rex from now on, gals.
Tequila Rex! I love it. Guys, we have so much planned for you this episode, this show. We've got some really good juicy gossip. We're going to do our heat versus heart, our relationship questions. And we have a new segment called Mixing It Up. And you guys are going to want to stay tuned for that too. Girls, overall thoughts of this episode, When in Rome.
Oh my goodness. This was hardcore. There was like so much tension in this episode. Am I the only one that kind of felt that way?
Yeah.
No, my stomach was in knots the whole time, but like good knots.
Yeah.
Like the best kind of knots. Butterflies, maybe.
Nice.
I mean, listen, I like the show, so I guess I'm just being devil's advocate. It wasn't my favorite. Out of the three, it was not my favorite. Was I into it? Totally. Was I as into it as the past ones? There's only been 3. No.
What was lacking?
You know, I thought it ended abruptly.
Okay.
That's what I didn't like about it. I think it was like really, really good, and then we were all excited. You grabbed me at a certain point, and I felt it with you, but then it kind of was like, okay, we're done.
So it felt rushed a bit for you?
At the end. It wasn't until the end, which is why overall it wasn't my favorite. Did I like the episode? Totally.
Yeah, I am liking the dynamics between the team this episode. I think it was more character driven, but I agree with you. I think it was a little rushed towards the end. Like, oh, it was over? Like, what, did I miss something? Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it's Whiskey Cavalier, and we love Whiskey Cavalier.
Right. Just being here as... it can't be perfect, right? It can't be perfect, because then if it's perfect, then we can't hope for better. So I'm
Frankie
gonna say
was super hostile in this episode too.
But you know what?
She was going hard.
She made a good point though, and we'll get to it. But she did say that she's a killer, and now she's a partner. Which we met her as a killer.
Yeah,
that's what she was doing. She was killing people.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to disagree with you, Monica. I mean, sorry, Monse.
I was like, wait,
Tequila Rex.
Yeah, Tequila Rex.
We're good. I'm gonna have to disagree with you. This was actually my favorite episode so far.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah, I thought it had the most depth of all the episodes so far, and they were all like they were hyper themselves the entire episode, which I thought was more entertaining.
We're starting to get to know the team and the individuals on the team. Let's start talking about London. So they're on this training mission. And what was interesting about London is you could see that even though they're a new team, they haven't quite meshed yet. Mm-hmm. So you've got a bunch of personalities that are all probably leaders in their respective fields coming together, 2 clashing to be the leader, and then one with no, like, not military training, but like gun training. Yeah. And then you have one who's kind of like, I call her like the overall psychic, but she really gets into people's psyche, right? And then you have the gadget guy. And they're all coming at it 100%. But in London, they fail.
Yeah, well, I think like one thing that I kind of had to remind myself throughout this episode, because it started so hardcore with that as well, is they're coming right off of the last episode where Will's emotions kind of got them into a bad situation. So they're already in that place where they're not really getting along. And then they go into this training mission, which we didn't know was a training mission. So it was kind of a cool way to start the episode, I thought. Put me right in it.
And they brought that up right away, you know, about his last week's episode. Who knows in the timeline of their life, but they brought it up right away of how his emotions.
They've also spent a lot of time together at this point, and when you're with the same group of people in a high intensity situation, it's natural that things are going to get a little terse between people. So it made sense. I thought it wouldn't have made sense if they did it any other way.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they were bickering, and they kept saying that they weren't a family yet, but they were bickering like a family.
Yeah,
Right?
good point.
Yeah.
You're at your, like you said, you're in high stress situations, but you're also with these people all the time, right? So they know the ins and outs, and they're starting to get to know the ins and outs of you, so you're going to bicker. And that's kind of almost like a tension release. You know, think about like trying to get the bad guy all the time, and then, you know, your bestie on your team shoots you.
Yeah, but it's like your bestie who also is like trained in psychology,
Yes.
weaponry,
Yes.
black belt and karate.
Yes.
This triggers a question. Side note, this is not planned. Side note for you guys, this just triggers a question. Me and my boyfriend, he thinks, he's like, you know me the best. You should not push my buttons. And here we are. Well, when you're family, you push each other's buttons, which is what I think. My boyfriend completely disagrees with that. He thinks that since we know each other, we should know what to not do and say. And then I'm like, we spend so much time together, we're gonna annoy each other. Do you guys agree with me or with him?
Well, I think typically in relationships, you push each other's buttons. And so this is like a family environment, you know, this group or whatever. So obviously they're pushing each other's buttons. I'm not saying you should, but it does happen.
It's just like, he just was like, no, but we know each other the best. Like, we should do the exact opposite. And I'm like, no, you're a boy, you're wrong.
There are some buttons that should never be pushed. Really, really intimate dark secrets. But I feel like the fun, playful, or even like bickery buttons, fair game. But
Right.
the really dark ones, no, hands off.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
There's some
agree
you
with
can't
that.
avoid. There's
I
some you
think-
can't avoid.
Here's what I think. I think that, like Dirty Midnight said, I think that when you're in a relationship with someone, you know their ins and outs. And I think that you should not push the buttons that you know are going to trigger things that they've shared with you in confidence or that you've learned from being with them. Now, if you're bickering and you push a button because you know that it's going to get an end result, then I think that's different. If that's like a little surface thing, I think you guys are both right. I think you and your boyfriend are both right. I think that when you're
She's
bickering,
Switzerland.
I'm gonna drink some of my drink so that doesn't hurt as much.
when you guys are bickering, it's okay to push the buttons because, you know, you're bickering, you're going to make up and it's fine. But I think that if it's the real deal and when he says to you and looks you in your face and say, but you know me the best, then maybe that's the line where you don't
For sure,
cross.
and he's never said it like that. It's just, we just disagree on this. That I'm like, when you spend so much time, even your best friends, when you just spend so much time together, you kind of annoy each other sometimes.
Just
I
don't
think that's what's
push-
happening here in the show. For
Yeah,
sure.
That's exactly what's happening because they're spending all this time in high pressure and away from their home base quite often.
Yeah.
They were in Rome now, and well, they were in London first, and then they went back to New York City. So let's talk about New York City. So they get to New York City, and we have Frankie and Will bickering still about whose team it is. Will thinks it's his team, and Frankie thinks it's her team, and then he's like, no, it's our team. What do you guys think? Whose team is it so far as of episode 3?
I think it's actually Will's. I think he's playing the long game of like making them a team, even if she doesn't see it that way. I definitely think he's winning because she's just getting frustrated and it's kind of hurting the team in general. So.
If they had to draw a line in the sand and pick sides, Will would win.
Yeah.
Hands
So
down.
are you saying it's Will's team then?
It's Will's team.
And Tequila Rex?
Mira. I think this is actually Standish's call because he's the one that's not connected, right? I think he'd pick Will. Because they each have like, you know, like a partner in crime, right? And he's the like fifth wheel. I think he would pick Will.
And who
Let's
are you
be
picking?
real. It's Susan's team.
Yes, I love that. I think right now it's Will. Y'all listen. I don't know. I'm just saying that I think it kind of maybe goes towards Will, but not by a lot. Like it's not like clear.
I think they're tricking us because if you guys remember from last week, it was definitely Frankie's team last week.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this week, it felt like Will's team.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
maybe they go back and forth. And I think that they play off of each other's strengths.
For sure.
And I think that Will was stronger in this episode, although she came out a better fighter in this episode.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
She was like, I was like, she's doing some Matrix business. And he looked like a little less great than her.
She was pissed.
Yeah.
This whole episode. I was so glad she got a good fight scene in at the end, though, because I was kind of waiting for it. I was like, girlfriend needs to get it out.
And she got it out. She got it out. Okay, but back to New York City. So the team is basically being audited. and by the director Casey, and he's basically saying you guys screwed up so badly last time that we don't know A, if we're going to keep the team together, and B, if we're going to send you on another mission. Did you guys actually believe that that was going to be like the future of the team?
That would be the end of the show.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
I think that is kind of where the script fell apart a little bit for me, is I was like, well, obviously they stay together. That would be a show ender.
But that's the whole show. Everything about this show is both cliched and unexpected at the same time. So they had to throw in some high stakes, condition for them to
Like, get
raise
your
the tension
together.
like
Yeah.
Ray's job.
But they're gonna pull through.
Yeah, they were
'Cause they have to.
I agree. They were reminding us that they messed up. It was more like an audience thing. Hey, remember they're not always successful.
Yeah.
Just keep that in mind as we watch them. But yeah, I agree. It was like, okay, we don't have time for dumb now. This is only episode 3. Come on.
They wrote that one in just in case the show didn't do well.
We're gonna wrap right here.
Just in case.
Oh, so funny.
Game
Speaking
over.
of rap, we have a ton of great shows on our network, don't we, Monse?
Oh my goodness, we have so many great networks, and some of us are part of other shows here at AfterBuzz TV. But we really want to thank everybody that always tunes in into every AfterBuzz show, because you guys are making us the ESPN of TV talk, and we cannot thank you enough. But we can ask you for more support, and that's really what we would love from you guys. We love to hear from you, so if you could help us out, and I'm sure some of you do it every week, and we appreciate it. But if you could subscribe on YouTube, if you could give us ratings on iTunes and give us 5 because you love us. Come on, we're drinking. What are we drinking? Old fashions?
We'll get there.
Okay, I just don't know because Tequila Rex doesn't have this. So please subscribe on YouTube, give us ratings on iTunes, leave us comments. We will respond. We want to hear from you guys. But seriously, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to be here. We love this. We get to know people from all over the world through the internet, and we just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for making us the ESPN of TV talk here at AfterBuzz.
Yes, and guys, we're on Spotify now too, so download us, listen in your car, and make sure you guys are commenting. We love hearing from you, and we definitely comment back all across social media. Guys, let's talk about Jay and his gadgets.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Hold on. But did you guys not think of Men in Black when Standish found that little gun?
I did.
Men in Black. Will Smith was. Well, he was like, "What is this?"
I died of laughter. I was like, that is the smallest gun I've ever seen. Not that I've actually even seen them, but on TV. I was like, that would be like the perfect gun. It's kind of cute. That's what I thought. I really did.
That's the gun
When
I
it
want.
shot Jay, it barely. I mean, I felt like
It was like a pellet gun.
It was a little tap, a
Yeah.
little love tap.
Yeah, and he kind of shook it off like, we're going to talk about this later.
But he was
Let's
like
get back to
offended.
work.
I
Yeah,
love that he pulled
like-
the gun out back on Standish, like, oh, I really want to.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. What we love about Jay, and what I love about Jay, is how stylish she is.
Yes.
Right. So he's not only got the gadgets, but he's got the looks and he's got the dress. So it's this whole thing. So when Standish shot him, it was more about like, you wrecked my outfit.
Agreed.
than about, oh, I'm hurting and now I can't work.
Yeah.
I
Agreed.
thought it was hilarious.
Offended. Like
Yeah.
you got blood on my outfit. That's totally what it was.
Yeah.
Right? I loved it. But instantly, I thought Men in Black. Instantly.
Yeah. I'm loving the gadgets, and he's really saving the day a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Right, with the ring, poison ring.
The necklace.
poison necklace. The little gun kind of saved the day a little bit, or with a distraction, right? And then when the guy on the motorcycle got shot in the neck with... I don't even
Marco,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, what was that? It was like a sleeper agent something.
Well, he was the assassin that Frankie knew from before.
Yeah, but he got shot by Jay in the neck when he was riding his
Oh,
motorcycle.
yeah, I kind of missed that part.
Well, he got shot in the neck.
Well, I mean, I saw it, but it was like, yeah.
My point being is that Jay's got the gadgets, and I like the gadgets.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It goes perfect with his character.
Yeah, it's-
Send us those gadgets.
For real, let's test them out.
I want a ring where I can just...
I would hurt myself.
Hi, friend. How are you doing, friend?
I would accidentally hurt myself for sure.
All right, so back on track. So they are going to be tested by going to Rome, and they got to go to Rome and deal with this racist group that wants to kind of destroy Rome. That's financed by Luca Curdell, who's this billionaire racist financer, right? So they go there, And they also have to find Thomas Andrews, who has been recruited to build this massive, destructive bomb, right? So they get there, they go to the party, and that party was funny to me because Will's trying to make it all romantic and like, oh, look at that couple. They probably been together for like 40 years. And Frankie's like, yeah, 40 racist years. Yeah. You know what I mean? What do you guys think of that whole scene?
They looked amazing. They acted with such confidence when they were strutting in a party full of fascists. Mm-hmm. I also thought it was really interesting because if you are keeping up to date with what's happening in Europe, this is something that's actually not that far off base. I mean, there's a little bit of a Hollywood flair to it, of course, but I knew this was written and shot how long ago. I just thought that was a really interesting twist. I thought the dance scene was the best tension that we've seen between them romantically thus far. I loved it.
That and the bomb scene.
I was going to say, I think they upped it in the bomb scene.
Yeah. That bomb scene was a little
different.
Cutter.
Yes, different intensity of what you're talking about. She looked great. So honestly, I was just watching her. I was like, man, you look good. That's a good dress, girl. All right. All right. And then I tweeted her as we were watching the episode, and I was like, listen, I will dance with Scott Foley. So if you want to switch lives, we're cool. Like, I'm ready. I could do that. Because she did not want to dance with him.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So Will's trying to win her over. He's trying to make her part of his family, part of the team, but also get to know who she is as a person because that's who he is, right? And she is basically saying, I'm never going to get to know you. I never mix business with personal. And Susan's like, you two, whatever it is you're doing, you need to get on the same page. Right, so Susan's kind of the one that's rounding everyone up. So maybe it is Susan's
I'm telling you, it's her team.
So they get to this party. They're still bickering, but they're like playing the role. And then they spot Andrew, and it kind of goes awry from there. Because, like you said, turns out Frankie knows one of like the assassins / guards / military, Marco. Yeah. And so that was a small distraction for us, right? Mm-hmm. But then it goes haywire. But they were able to recover from it.
I love the way that she handled it, though, when she, like, beats him up and then she's like, he wouldn't take no for an answer.
Did you notice all the people
cover.
clapping were women?
Like, this is amazing.
That's so good. I loved that. Very subtle, but the women in the background clapping. Mm-hmm. I love that just because she says at one point, she's like, I don't know every assassin, right? And then in last episode... she said that in the last episode. I don't know every assassin. So it was like a little foreshadowing that she is an assassin. Like, that's what we're coming to. That's what they're about to tell us, that she has done her share of killing.
Yeah, so before she joined the CIA, that's exactly what she was doing with Marco. She was a hired assassin.
Right. But they hinted last week, and I thought it was just like a line where she was like, I don't know every assassin, like saying like, I'm cool, but I don't know everybody. Yeah. And it was like, there's
a lot of good subtle writing here, because even like when you mentioned how she said, he wouldn't take no for an answer, and the women started clapping. In this whole Me Too movement, that's like a nod to that as well.
For sure.
So
they also mentioned as they were walking in that all the mistresses were pretending not to know the guys. So it already like sort of planted that seed, which I just thought was so smart.
Yeah, it was really good.
Seriously, the writing is so good in the show, and there's so many good things about the show. Like I like the acting, I like the writing, I like the fight scenes. Mm-hmm. They're doing like a good job all around.
Mm-hmm. And I like how Standish and Jay are kind of the comedy relief
for sure.
Their one-liners, and even the guy with Ray.
Yeah,
Ray.
I love Ray. I know he's a bad guy, but he just makes me so happy when he comes on screen because his lines are so awful.
They're so corny.
They're so corny.
So funny.
Whose team would he be on if they were drawing the line in the sand? Do you think
he wants to be on the team? He's not on any team.
But if they had to pick between Will and Frankie, they were divvying up. You think he would be Will? I don't know.
He's so clueless that he would say that it's his team.
Yeah, that's exactly what would happen.
That's exactly what he would say. Be like, what? It's my team. I'm the one that's delivering you the mission. So if I get fired, there's no team. Yeah. I think that's what he would think.
Absolutely.
The whole mission was to save his job, right?
Right. I mean, that it's all about him. Right?
And I would have smacked him if I was Frankie so fast. I would have smacked that guy. But you're right. He's a comedic relief in a different way from the other two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I agree.
So it goes haywire, and then basically they get away, but they don't get away. So now we find another layer that Andrew, he's not the bad guy that they think he is. He only built the bomb because they've kidnapped his 10-year-old daughter, Isabella, which I love that name, by the way. Loved it. And we're so close to them rescuing her. We see her face to face, and then boom, it goes awry again. Right? She gets kidnapped, and Andrew gets killed, and that's when I was like, Monse, no!
Yeah. That was a little
His
unexpected.
first daughter. How
I agree.
dare they?
But you know why you got killed? Because they were like, don't call her. Hey! Hey!
Isabella!
daughter! So that's why
Yeah.
you get killed.
It was
That's why.
one of those things too where the bus doors open and you can see the bad guys and she's looking the other way and you just want to shout like, turn around.
Yeah.
Just run. Do something. Don't just stand there like waving.
And like, can we talk about the nanny or whoever the woman was? I
Oh,
think it
right.
was the nanny. Like, nanny, you need to have eyes in the back and the front of your head. I'm just saying, like, they
She was a
pushed
terrible
you.
nanny.
Yeah, they push you, you fell to the ground. That's it. The girl gets snatched.
Yeah.
Y'all need to do a little bit of a better job.
Let me tell you, Latina nanny would not have looked like that.
That's
That girl would have taken her
Same.
shoe off and smacked you with her chancla, like for real.
same. Same. There is no.
There's-
There's no child
No.
that's gonna go missing just like that. Maybe in Rome.
Maybe, hey, Taken. If we've learned anything from Liam Neeson's Taken,
Right.
is that it can happen in Europe.
It can happen in Europe, but oof.
Did anyone else think that Isabella had a little bit of a Wednesday Addams vibe going?
Oh,
I didn't really think about it, but yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
There were a couple of, I wonder, because of the Men in Black gun too, I'm wondering if these were all little intentional like shout outs.
I bet you it was.
Maybe. Now that you say it, yes, but I didn't think about it in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do we do then? So they take her away, and now we have to figure out how we're going to save the girl, and then we're also going to save the city because of the bomb.
Right, because it was revealed to us that the bomb was already in place.
Yes.
At this point, we didn't know.
Right.
That's what it was until he
Right.
died.
he died. And
This
said,
was kind
it's
of
going to happen today.
this was kind of where it went downhill for me. Like it just got a little bit over the top cheesy. They're like, "Where's the bomb? Oh, right here by our feet." And then like
Well,
they
they
just
had
show
to-
up to save the girl. They don't show how they like found the girl.
That's when I felt like it was rushed.
And-
So I felt though when they had the Saint Day festival, which made sense. Everyone
Yeah.
was going to be out in the streets, right? And then Marco left his motorcycle. So between Standish and having the motorcycle clue, they knew that the bomb was right there.
Yeah.
Right. So it's in the drain or the drainage. So they're going to go down there. I actually thought the bomb was the bike, but whatever.
I did
thought
too
so,
for a
too.
minute. Yeah.
It wasn't. So they go down the tunnel, totally fine. They've got 3 minutes and 40 seconds because I was watching. And I was like, okay, because it's always like 2 minutes or 3 minutes that they have to make everything happen.
Yeah.
So in the 3.4 minutes, you guys are going to have a mega fight. And it's going to start as a gunfight, then it's a fist fight, then it's a knife fight, back to a gunfight. All in like a minute and a half because then they had 2 minutes and like some change to make sure that bomb didn't go off.
This whole part.
Okay. I watch a lot of like these crime shows. And here's my question to you girls. Okay, so this bomb, maybe it's different, maybe it's more high tech, but all you had to do is like pull the thing, like Operation, because I played that game as a kid. Operation, I was pretty good at. So all you have to do is pull it and then not touch the sides. But in addition to that, then you had to cut the cords, and then it still went off.
Yes.
The thing too for me was when they started getting into like the sentimental moments as the bomb is counting down. I'm like, hey, you want to end with 2 minutes and not 2 seconds? Maybe have that conversation later. Like, that's where I was
Speaking
like,
of
what?
2 seconds, that's actually when they dismantled it. And I feel like that is metaphorical because it was the two of them
Oh,
connecting.
you're getting deep. She's getting deep tonight.
Oh,
right?
we're peeling the layers.
Yeah,
here.
we are.
Yes.
I was definitely not that deep right there.
No.
I like that. I like that a
2
lot.
I totally agree. I think this is where everything you guys are saying, I think, has to do with the fact that it was being rushed. Because, like, let's say that they explained a little bit more about the bomb. Let's because in other situations, in other shows, they do that. They'll say, like, oh, this has, like, 35 wires, but if you cut one wrong one, oh, things could go bad. There was no sense of urgency. Right? Like, with this bomb. I just felt like they had to rush it, which is why maybe, like, we're all complaining about different things. But what is the one thing? The timing. It just seemed... like, yo, we got 7 minutes. We gotta wrap it up. We got commercials in 7 minutes. We can't get out of it. You know?
Yeah, I do agree with that a lot because we were going at a good pace, and then when they got to the bomb, it was like, oh, you know, our show's about to run out, which, you know, our show is about to run out. Literally. But overall, they saved the girl, right? So Luke, they dismantle the bomb, and then Luke is like, we failed. Yeah, dude, you failed. We got that. Do you remember that?
So unepic. So unepic.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, they're like, but no loose ends. And then it goes dark, and the girl's like blindfolded, and of course they're going to save the day. They don't tell us how they saved the day. They don't tell us, like, how they found the girl, but they found her, probably with Jay's gadgets. And then she's saved. And what was sweet about that was the fact that we saw a little soft side to Frankie. So now we know that Frankie has a soft spot for children. Right?
Yep.
And we also know that she's starting to peel some of those layers off with becoming part of a family with her team.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah. Anything else that you guys want to discuss about this episode?
I don't think so.
Guys, then it's time to move on to our special segment. First segment, guys, it's a brand new segment. We're calling it Mixing It Up. And Beer Brandy is going to take it away and explain to you what Mixing It Up is.
Okay, so the show is obviously called Whiskey Cavalier. I've noticed on Twitter and all social media they do Whiskey Wednesdays. So, of course, we had to find a way to drink some whiskey. So, in our own little personal way, we're going to do a drink each week for the different characters. And so this week, we're starting off with an old fashioned, which, if you haven't guessed, I feel like is totally Will Chase. He's a Boy Scout. It's just the ultimate whiskey drink. So we'll call it the Cavalier this week.
Clink.
Cheers, ladies. And if you don't know, it is bourbon, bitters, sugar, orange peel, and a little bit of water.
Guys.
Cheers. And there's other ways to
Mixing it up. The old fashioned. What do you like to put in your old fashioned, and what kind of whiskey?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments. Mixing it up.
For somebody that drinks beer and wine, I'm like, wee!
Should I be worried that I'm not having an issue with this? This is going down really nice.
Yeah, because filthy martini over here, this is nothing.
Drinking and then heat versus heart. This is going to turn into a real fun show.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
Guys, let's move on to some news and gossip. News and gossip. So what do we got, Dirty Midnight, for some news and gossip?
Okay. So a couple of interesting little production notes about the show. So Lauren tweeted earlier that she and Scott were actually driving the boat in that opening scene down the river.
Nice.
We knew that they did all their own stunts, but now we know that they do their own boat driving.
Ooh.
Too.
That's been fun.
Something else that she said was that they actually shot in a sewer. She said it smelled terrible, but it was totally worth it once they got the shot.
Hashtag actor's life.
Yeah, super glamorous. So Anna Ortiz tweeted that they have a Whiskey Cavalier group chat with the whole cast.
So
I sort of have a feeling that Scott Foley is the one that's like sprinkling in most of the GIFs and the emojis, and that Lauren's probably sending like embarrassing pictures that she snapped from the side.
Which I did see their fan club on Twitter is now Whiskey Chasers. So that's another hashtag that's being used.
Hey.
Yeah, I do love that. Okay, so this is super fun, and I wish that we could hear the audio for this. Maybe Lauren will tweet it. But she said that her grandmother leaves voicemails reviewing every episode that she's in for all of her shows.
I love it.
She's in her 80s. I would really love to hear her break down this show.
She
should be on this show.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, they should save Grandma.
Yeah, get Lauren's grandmother on the show.
Yes.
And then the final little fun thing is that Bill Lawrence, the executive producer, said that when they screen the show, people in the audience always think that the sets are green screen, so they'll be like, oh, the Eiffel Tower, they did a pretty good job with the green screen, and he's like screaming at his screen like, no, idiots, it's the real thing.
Right, we've been on location for a year.
Yeah.
It's the real deal.
Yeah, and how it looks good though.
It
To me,
does.
I
it
think
does.
it looks
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It puts you in the moment for sure.
For sure.
100%.
Yeah.
Whoever's doing the CGI for those backdrops is
Is
doing a
on
great
it.
job.
Yeah.
We also have a few graphics. So one of the photos that Jay posted on Instagram. Instagram was down today, by the way, you guys, and it really affected my life. But he posted it not on Instagram, but on Twitter. And what I love about it is you see he's in this great suit, and he's always talking about how he looks like he's just kind of photoshopped into the photos. And he says, new Whiskey Cavalier tomorrow, which is today. More spies, more funny, more stunts, more suits.
Love it.
Love it.
That's awesome.
And then the cast gets along because we just learned they have a group chat, but also they take these fun, silly photos together. And we have a photo of Lauren and Anna, and they have tongues out, and it just looks like, hey, that's my TV sister.
I want to
Right?
be friends
Right?
with them.
Yeah.
What's a female bromance?
Oh.
I don't know. Can you comment in the comment section?
Yeah, I feel like there's got to be
And let us
something.
know.
Oh my goodness, you just started something. What is the female bromance?
Yeah. If you know the answer to that, definitely let us know in the comments or let us know somewhere on social media. You'll find us. And last but not least, we want to do our special segment about relationships. Heat versus heart. Here we go. You guys ready?
After whiskey, let's
All right.
do it.
Oh yeah.
Take a sip because these questions are serious. Not serious. By the way.
Oh my god, how do people drink this?
Ready?
Okay.
All right. Question number 1, you guys. Would you mind if your partner made more money than you?
Not at all. Yes, please bring it on.
No, it doesn't bother me at all.
I'll take her answer. Can I take her answer?
Okay, so they're unanimous. And part 2 to that question, what if your partner was unemployed when you met? Would it matter?
I've been there. It didn't matter in the beginning, and then as it developed, it became an issue.
Are they doing anything else? Like, are they just at home playing Xbox One, or are they trying to better themselves, taking classes at community college, or
Like, are they
writing
playing
the Great
PS4?
American?
They might be either or, but at the end of the day, they're unemployed. Doesn't matter.
No.
I'm not gonna lie. If I just met this guy, or is this like a friend of mine? That's the difference.
So many details.
You know,
we need.
what-
He's
you
your
know what I
partner.
mean?
He's your partner.
If I know this is gonna sound ridiculous, if this was my friend and I have a relationship and I started to develop feelings and he didn't have a job, it'd be different. If I just met this guy at a bar, I'm drinking an old fashioned, he's having a tequila, and we start talking and he's like, I don't have a job. Oh my god, thank you so much. My lift is there. Bye.
Yeah. So you didn't answer the question. It's your partner. You know him. He's your partner. in
Right,
life.
but it's like if I met him, he would have become my partner.
Okay, but-
so you're saying my partner
my
lost his
goodness.
job?
Yeah, he's unemployed right now.
Okay, if he lost his job,
Yeah.
then yeah, of course I'm gonna support him. Of course I'm gonna support him. Of course. But I don't think I would start dating somebody who doesn't have a job.
It's an important distinction.
Yeah. It's just, I know that's not the answer you want. I know, I'm sorry.
I mean, I think that, yeah, it's a fine line. It's definitely a fine line because, you don't want no scrubs, but you also want to be able to give people the opportunity to explore whatever is their dreams they're chasing. You want to support that because if you guys are both starting at the bottom and you make it together, it's that much better, right? So, I don't know. I'm reserving my...
These are all actors who dated other actors, clearly.
I just need them to be able to buy me food. Like, can you buy me French fries?
Which is a great segue to my next question. What is the best gift a partner could give you?
food.
A quality experience together.
An adventure, for sure. Like an outdoor adventure.
Okay. And last but not least, how do you respond when your partner is very late to meet you?
Depends on the reason, but I'm pretty understanding about that.
Okay. So it's not an issue.
No, not really. Unless it's happening all the time.
Okay.
If it's LA traffic,
Fair enough.
I understand.
Okay.
If it's my boyfriend of 6 years, I'm expecting it. When are you gonna be here, boo boo? 30 minutes? Cool, I'll see you in an hour. Thank you so much.
Called out.
Okay, part 2 of that question. What if you text your partner and they don't immediately text back? Is that a problem?
Depends on how long immediately is, but I definitely need some responses. I don't like, if it goes too long, I get in my head and start filling in the blanks.
So let's say you text them at 1 and you don't get a response back till 9 p.m.
Oh,
Problem.
no. That's a problem. Yeah, unless it's like, I'm so sorry.
Tequila, is there
it's
something
a
in your
problem.
eye?
I'm just thinking about all the times that my puppy hasn't texted me back, and I'm like, listen. No, I'm not okay with that. It depends. If I know you're working, and you said from 1 to 9,
That's too long.
oh, I give you 3 hours.
You went to the bathroom at some point and took your phone with me.
And I know
So
you're
saw
texting
or
You
took
not
your phone with
only
you.
went to the bathroom,
Yeah.
you took a mini coffee break, you took a lunch
You
break.
saw the text and chose not to
You
respond.
went to the back somewhere just to get away from it all.
Probably took a poop.
You-
No, don't
all-
play with me.
All that.
You opened my Snapchat.
Right, all that.
Oh, no.
You commented on Insta. You're all over the place. Babe, you better text back immediately. That's all I'm saying. It's the little things that count.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Yes, agreed. Guys, we had a great show. We are so happy to be here. And unfortunately, we're running out of time. So if you want to continue the conversation, if you want to reach out to us, I'm Linda, so girly, all across social media. Beer Brandy, where can they find you?
They can find me at Monica Goes Show.
I'm at Janine Doyon.
You guys can find me across social media at Monse Bolanos.
Guys, it's been a pleasure. Shout out to ER's grandpa and everyone else that were in our live chat, and to everyone who commented from last week's show. We see you, we love you, and can't wait to see you next week, same time, same place. Bye guys.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.